So my first one, I'm going to start off with the sternum. The first thing we can start out with is the manubrium, which starts above this line, and it's this whole area of the sternum. Then you have the jugular notch right here, which is the area. You have this little curve right here. These two notches on the side of the jugular notch are the clavicular notches, and that's where your clavicle sets into the sternum. Then below the line right here is the body of the sternum. And then down here, you have your xiphoid process. And then these right here, you should have 7 costal cartilage notches, and these are where the ribs connect to the sternum. So you have 7 true ribs that connect to the sternum, and then there's 3 down here that aren't connected to the sternum, just the cartilage. These 3 right here, and those are your false ribs. And then you'll have a few floating ribs underneath here that don't connect to the sternum or the costal cartilage. And then this is a rib. So I'll put it down here so we can see better. But this is the head of your rib, which is going to connect to your vertebrae in the spinal column. This is the tubercle of the rib. This is the costal groove. And the way that you know if it goes on the right side or the left side of the body is based on the fact that the head goes in the back. The costal groove is going to be on the inferior side, and then also the way the rib curves. I'm not sure if you can see, but it should curve in a downward angle, which is what we have here. Below the head, you have the neck of the rib, and the rest of it is the shaft or the body of the rib. Then we have the clavicle, and we have 2 ends to this. So this side right here that's rounded is the acromial end, and this side down here it has a flatter edge to it, and that's the sternal end. And the sternal end is medial compared to the acromial end. And not only can you figure this out by the curve, but also right here you have the conoid tubercle, and that's going to be on the superior side of the acromial end. So that's your clavicle. And then last but not least, we have the scapula. So this is the posterior side of the scapula. The first thing we can look at is the scapular spine, which is this line up right here. The way we figure out if this is medial or lateral is based on the spine. The way I like to think of it is if the way that it's sloping upwards is the side that it is. So since this is upward sloping to the left, this is the left scapular. And you can also tell by this right here, which is the glenoid fossa, and that's where your humerus sits in this pocket. So if you're looking at a person, their humerus of their arm is going to be right here, so it's going to be on the left side of their body. So you have this spine right here. This is the acromion that connects to the spine, and this right here, it looks like a crow's beak, is the coracoid. Yeah, okay, coracoid process. Above the spine, you have the supraspinous fossa, and below the spine, you have the infraspinous fossa. Then we have the superior border, which is this line right here. This is the superior angle. This is the left side of the body, so this will be the lateral border, while this is the medial border, and this is the inferior angle. And then the last thing we have on here is the subscapular fossa, which is everything underneath. And that's all done.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the anatomy of the humerus. Right here, you're going to have your humeral head. You're going to have your lesser tubercle. And over here, you're going to have your greater tubercle. And in between that is going to be your inner tubercle sulcus, or also groove. And over here, you're going to have your deltoid tuberosity. And then right here is the anatomical neck of the humerus. And once you come down here, you're gonna have your surgical neck right here. And you'll make your way down. And right here is going to be your coronoid fossa, as well as your radial fossa. And then your medial condyle and your medial epicondyle and lateral epicondyle, your capitulum, and also your trochlea. Then we're gonna flip over here to the posterior aspect. You're gonna have your olecranon process. Not your olecranon process, olecranon fossa. And then that is it for the humerus. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you the ulna now. Right here is the olecranon process. This is the trochlear notch, coronoid process, and then this is the radial notch, where the radial head articulates. And they're gonna come down here and have the styloid process as well. So I'm gonna move over to the radius. Right here, it's going to be your radial head. Right here is the radial tuberosity. Work your way down, you're gonna have the styloid right there. And then you're gonna have the ulnar notch, where the ulnar styloid articulates. And that's it. All right, so now we're moving down onto the hand. We're going to start with your carpal bones. Right here, you're going to have your scaphoid, your lunate, triquetrum, pisiform, the trapezoid, the trapezium. Right here, you're going to have the capitate, and lastly, you're going to have your hamate. Now we're going to move down to the metacarpals. We're going to go metacarpal 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Move it down to the phalanges. It's going to be your proximal phalanges, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Distal on the thumb, there is no middle phalanx on this one, but over here on the 2 through 5, you have a middle phalanx right here. And then over here are your distal phalanx on the last 4 digits. And that's it for the hand.